against Vice President Kamala Harris and read from scripted remarks, which included many falsehoods, lies. But as things went on, it turned into what we typically hear at the rallies. Take a look.
I won Pennsylvania, and I did much better the second time. I won it in 2016, did much better the second time. I tend to poll low, in some cases really low. You know, in 2016, I was polling low because people didn't want to say who they're voting for. I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. And we did very well in 2016, and we did much better in 2020, much better, but bad things happened. I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence, and I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State. I don't think people know who she is yet. When people, because really people didn't know. You can ask the man on the street. I saw it on one of the shows today. They asked the man on the street, what's the last name of Kamala? Nobody knew. It's Harris. Nobody knew the last name. She's a very strong communist lean. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system. You're going to be thrown into a system where everybody gets health care.
You're going to be thrown into a You're going to be thrown into a communist system. By the way, Willie, let's see here. Let me just check. The Dow over 40,000 yesterday, 40,500. Our economy,
inflation cooling,
actually stronger relative to the rest of the world than any time over the past half century. Our economy, unbridled capitalism, whether you like it or not, unbridled capitalism ruling the day in America. More billionaires than ever before, more millionaires than ever before, more wealth created than ever before. You look at real wages for working Americans, it's been going up, as you pointed out yesterday, Willie, consistently for quite some time. So what he just said is wrong, and it's more of a sort of a denigrating of the United States of America. We are a great country. We are a strong country. We are economically powerful. Again, this so-called communist country has a state like Texas that has a bigger economy than Russia. California, a bigger economy than India. We are strong and powerful. We are wealthy. Our economy better than any in the world. And nobody across the world thinks, oh, those Americans, they're communists. No, they're those Americans. American capitalism keeps rolling on, keeps getting stronger, keeps getting more powerful.
Yeah, the timing, among many other things yesterday, was way off. Even on Fox, if you watched it there, he was talking about how the economy was cratering, the markets are tanking, as a little box in the corner of the screen showed the markets soaring. And this came one day after that inflation report that heartened so many economists, liberal and conservative, showing that inflation had really cooled, that grocery prices are up just 1% year over year. And the entire sort of idea of this press conference, he was standing. We'll play another very bizarre clip of him standing in front of boxes of Cheerios and talking about how he wanted to take the Cheerios back to his cottage and have a lot of fun with them. We can get into that later. But the prices of groceries still too high, as we stipulate, still too high. But in the 24 hours before he had that press conference, this report came out showing that prices are cooling. So he's flailing. I guess, Mike, he thinks in some way, because he's doing them so often, 2 within the space of a week, 1 at Mar-a-Lago, 1 at Bedminster yesterday at his members-only clubs, that these help him somehow, that he's maybe baiting Vice President Harris into doing a press conference of his own. But the more he talks, the less sense he makes to a lot of people, not to his hardcore supporters, but to a lot of people. And as we keep saying, the Harris campaign is thrilled to have this kind of material out there once a week.
Well, don't you think that he does these press conferences or whatever you want to call them just because he wants to see himself on TV? He wants to be on TV. That's who he is. Yesterday was tough. I mean, there were a couple of day baseball games. I was watching those in the afternoon, but I decided to watch the former president at his press conference surrounded by groceries. And it was a tough watch. You have to have a lot of time in your hands to listen to him. And to Joe's point, he continually, no matter how he begins whatever soliloquy he's talking about, whether it's about Cheerios, whether it's about the economy, he ends up running this country into the ground, no matter what topic it is. In one element, he was talking about the dangers to Jewish people in this country. And he said it's so severe that, here's the quote, Sam played it earlier, maybe we have it today, we'll play it further. Honestly, you don't have a chance. So you don't have a chance if you're living in America under who he calls Kamala. What does he call her? Kamala?
He knows how to say it, by the way. In private moments, he says it correctly. Yeah.
But the running down of this country is a consistent underlying theme in everything he says. And in terms of elections are about the future. People want to feel optimistic about the future for their children, and he's the exact opposite.
So here is that Cheerios moment I was talking about. This is the former president of the United States speaking about inflation at his Bedminster Golf Club.
They did a nice job. Wow, I haven't gotten to see. That's good. I don't like the tags very much. Look at that, up 46% eggs. Wow, up 65%. Wow, school lunch is up 65%. How can a family afford that? But look at this over here. What a nice job. I think I'm going to take some of them back to my cottage and have a lot of fun. Like the Cheerios. I haven't seen Cheerios in a long time. I'm going to take them back with me. Bacon is through the roof. They're all through the roof. The milk.
You know,
made for tiny hands.
Stupid country. He calls America a stupid country. He said we're a loser country. He said the American dream is dead. And again, there's just such a disconnect with where I think most all Americans are. I think most Americans are really proud of this country and know that we're the greatest country in the world. We have fed more and freed more people than any other country ever. Our economy is stronger than ever. Our military is stronger relative to the rest of the world than ever. I keep talking about the goodness of America and the greatness of America because you have one party that keeps tearing down America. And I will tell you, yesterday, we can talk about Cheerios and all of that other stuff, but yesterday, along these lines, Donald Trump actually did something that once again undermines the greatness of America. He insulted recipients of the Medal of Honor. The comment was one of the first things he said when he was talking at another event yesterday at his golf club in New Jersey. And that was about anti-Semitism, while praising Miriam Adelson, who he awarded the Medal of Freedom in 2018. And then he went on and he argued that it's better to get a civilian award than to get an award given to American heroes who are given those awards because of sacrifice to their country in war. You're not going to believe. Well, actually, if you listen to what General Kelly said and what Jeff Goldblum has written, you will believe it. But this is what he said yesterday.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's right.
I mean, first of all, Jeff Goldblum did say it, I think, in the outtakes of The Fly. But it's Jeffrey Goldberg. It's Friday morning. It's Jeffrey Goldberg and General Kelly, who said that Donald Trump, Willie, just didn't understand the sacrifice that our men and women have made and call them suckers and losers, quizzically asking General Kelly, why? Why would somebody sacrifice themselves? What's in it for them? And then, of course, yesterday saying a civilian award was much better because you didn't have to get shot up with bullets or die to get those awards. And he has a long history, Willie, of disparaging American veterans and service members.
He does. I mean, you said it right. This is shocking, but not surprising because of the pattern. This is not a one-off. This is the way he thinks about people who serve the country in uniform. In 2015, Trump mocked, of course, late Senator John McCain for having been a prisoner of war. Remember, he said, quote, "I like people who weren't captured." According to The Atlantic, Trump repeatedly questioned the intelligence of service members and requested wounded veterans be excluded from military parades. He canceled a trip to pay respects to America's war dead in Europe, reportedly asking staff members, quote, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers," talking about Americans who died in war. In a separate conversation, Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives at Belleau Woods as suckers for getting killed, suckers. And when a U.S. Navy SEAL was killed in a covert mission in Yemen, Trump, who was the commander-in-chief, passed the blame to his generals, saying, quote, "They lost Ryan." Eugene Robinson, though, boy, that clip really captures Donald Trump, doesn't it? I mean, it's infuriating to those of us who have such deep respect for military veterans and for those who earn the Congressional Medal of Honor. But it shows who he is, which is he doesn't understand the sacrifice of the people who earned that award. But boy, if you're famous and you're rich and he perceives you as beautiful and you meet the casting call, you're the real winner.
Yeah, there's something really warped inside of him. There really is. There's just something. I guess the word weird is overused, but all of that we just played is weird, and it is just appalling that he would speak of America's heroes that way. I mean, you know, the heroes, many of whom made the ultimate sacrifice for their country, and he simply does not get it. He doesn't understand. There's a connection there that's not being made, and you know, you saw it the 4 years he was president. And boy, if he ever became president again, I would really worry about this country because of that emptiness, that lack inside of him, that lack of empathy, that lack of patriotism. It's just not there. It's not there.
Sam, you've covered the former president. You've written about the former president. We see the former president every day on TV. One part of us, I don't know about you, but part of me is not surprised by these comments because Donald Trump is a singular act. He does not understand, he cannot comprehend what it's like to be part of a unit, whether it's a company of soldiers, a platoon, or a group of people in an office. He does not understand the idea of group effort. What was your view when you heard that tape we played earlier this morning, that you played on earlier, way too early, when he's talking about the dangers to Jewish people? Okay, yeah. Alex is going to play it. Rack it up, Alex. Hold on.
Toxic poison of anti-Semitism now courses through the veins of radical Democrat Party. I mean, this is